Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together devotion for today. And this week I've been focusing on if we call the church a family, what does that mean? Because there's lots of people within our families, especially extended families. And if we explore those terms and understandings and see how that functions in the church, maybe it'll help us to, function better as the church. So one of the things about my family is this is that my mom was the youngest of like a dozen children. It felt like I think there was 11 or 13. I can't ever remember which odd number it is, but there were that many kids in her and brothers and sisters for her, which meant that growing up in the small areas and small towns that I grew up in around where she grew up, I was surrounded by dozens and dozens of cousins. And it was just a natural thing for me. It seemed like everybody was supposed to have that kind of understanding. Uh, I found out later on that that's not necessarily what everybody grows up with, but cousin relationships are unique. When you grow up around your cousins or when you hang out with your cousins, you acknowledge that their parents, even though they might have grown up in the same household as your mom or your dad, they are totally different. They have a totally different understanding of life and a totally different belief system. It's almost as if they're coming out of a different tribe or a denominational difference. When I think about the church family these days, I think that we are all cousins when it comes to the way that we relate to other tribes and denominations, whether it's Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, Presbyterian, non denominational, or those one namers with the three-word visions. There's all sorts of different ways of doing church. There's Latter day Saints and Jehovah's Witnesses that are kind of those strange cousins over there, maybe, but they're part of the church family still. I mean, instead of us striving to say, well, you're the second cousin 5 times removed or something like that, why don't we just strive to be cousins? When I watched the movie Lilo and Stitch as a younger person about Hawaii, there was something I noticed inside of that cartoon and something that I actually went and looked up. There's a habit on the Hawaiian Islands of folks calling each other cousins. They're owning and acknowledging that each other lives on the same island. Maybe we as the church need to do that. Maybe we need to start looking at the ones that are in a different parking lot or in a different building with a different name underneath, beside or before the word church, and we need to see them as cousins. Because we're all on the same island, the same earth. We're all within the same cosmos, the same embrace of God's graces and God's love. Why don't call each other cousins rather than striving to disown each other or figure out where in the family tree you fit? Just own one another as the church family and be better together.